great news from our channel sponsors, the fogofwargames.co.uk. They're offering all of our channel subscribers 10% discount on top of their already discounted products, with free UK delivery on all orders over £50. Just head to their website and enter the ministry into the discount code box on checkout, and you will get your discount and help support the channel. Hello and welcome to the Ministry of Miniatures, and today we've got a very special video. I am doing the unboxing of the brand new Band of Brothers, the bolt action starter set. This is a new starter set. It's an upgrade on the old one, the Band of Brothers set, which saw the older version, version 2, boxed for US Airborne versus German Grenadiers, and this is the new updated version 3. So today we're going to be doing unboxing. We're going to have a look at the sprues, what's inside, and have a look through some of the books. So without further ado, let's have a look. So first up, this has the decent artwork on the front, which shows the two forces it'll be fighting, and also shows pretty much what you begin in the box. You get some ruins and some half-tracks. So this will give you everything you need to get started with bolt action. And actually you could probably, if you run a club and you want to get people involved, or you don't have any players nearby, this is ideal for starters, new players, and anyone wanting to get people involved in the game. So it is a heavy box. You can see there's artwork on the side, so that shows the German forces. This one shows the American forces. You can see there's probably going to be a couple of sprues for each, and the half tracks. So very nice to get started. And it shows you some of the painting guides on there. And on the back, there we go. You can literally see the contents of the box. So it says here, the Band of Brothers starter set is an ideal way to begin your battlefield career in bolt action. It certainly is. Containing two opposing forces to get started with Band of Brothers, includes all the bolt action 3rd edition rules, as well as a field manual guiding you through the first steps of the game. Now this is something they've done previously on the starter set. I've done a review for that. Check out the description if you want to see what the other starter set's like. But actually I think for me this one is really, really good, because you get enough figures in there to be able to do a starter force for both the Germans and the Americans, and from that you can build. You get the starter dice, you get the templates, you get the rules, you get some pin markers, and in fact it's actually got a list of stuff that comes in here. So you get 12 hard plastic 28mm US Airborne, and what's really good is these are the new sprues. So the version 2 set had the older, arguably not quite so good US Airborne. They're predominantly for later war. These ones are really nice. I've done a review of these in detail, so again, check out the description if you want to see that, but I will do a review of these in this video. But these ones are very much, they're wearing the jump gear for D-Day. You also get 12 hard plastic 28mm German Grenadiers. Now these have been around a few years and they're quite commonplace, but actually are really nice figures. So they're easy to put together, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. You get a 251 1 Alf D half track for the Germans, and you get an M3A1 half track for the Americans. So quite similar forces. The Germans would probably need to be veterans as well as the US Airborne, just to make it fair. And so we'll see what the field manual says about that, and how it decides would be a good way to build your forces up to start with. So yeah, you get an A5 rulebook. It's really good because you need the rules to play the game. You get the field manual. You get a piece of terrain, you get order dice, so it says 5 there, so that's probably more than you'll need just for what's in here, because you'll need 1 for an officer, 2 for the rifle sections, and 1 for the half track. 10 D6, so that's for rolling for wounds, etc. You get a dice bag, which is really nice. They've started to include that, just helps with the dynamics of the game. A double-sided gaming mat. Now I didn't know that was coming in here, so that'd be quite interesting to see what that looks like. And then plastic pin markers and templates, so you need those for the game as well. Not so much the templates to start with, because there won't be any HE to start with, so these aren't quite so needed, but this set gives you everything you need. So let's get the box open and see what the contents is like inside. So here we go. I have a knife here. Just be careful if you're doing this. This is a slightly blunted knife because I have been using it for building figures, but let's get the wrapping off and see what's inside. So I haven't actually looked inside here yet, so this is what we're going to see when we open it. So there we go, there's the lid. The boxes show the book straight at the top. I'll just quickly go around the inside art. So you can see there some of the version 2 campaign books that are coming out, which is that were already out, sorry, and some of the other starter sets. They're advertising Victory at Sea on this side, some more bolt action figures and boxes, and advertising Blood Red Skies on this side. Right, so anyway, let's get this open, look at the contents, and then we can look in a bit more detail. So as we knew, there would be the A5 rulebook. I do have the A4 because my eyesight's starting to go a little bit, and I think the writing in here is quite small, but these are ideal for if you're going to tournaments or going to clubs. You can take this with you. So next up is the Band of Brothers Fieldcraft book. We'll have a look at that in a bit more detail in a moment. You also get the gaming mat. So this looks pretty much the same as we had in the other starter set. So there's a road on one side and just grass on this side. But if you're brand new to the game and just getting started, that will get you up and running very nicely. As with Warlord always do this, you get a play sheet. It's just got the basic rules in a nice easy template, so you can cut that out, and you get measuring rules on the side just in case you don't have one, but most people have rulers in their house they can use, extendable ones, which are usually better. Then thank you, Alexandra, for packing. And we have here, yeah, you can see there are 5 American and 5 German dice, and then there's the D6 as well, so you can get started. Very nice, that'll come in handy, just what we need to get started here. Then, as you'll see with the rules, the dice bag is ideal for putting the dice in, because that is part of the dynamics and the key dynamic of playing bolt action. So very, very good. Then there are some ruins, so we'll have a look at those in a bit more detail. Pin markers, then the American Halftrack, the German Halftrack, and as I thought, there are two lots of Germans and 2 lots of Americans. So these are the German Grenadiers and these are the American Airborne. There's plenty of bases here, so you can see more than you'll need, which is ideal because they always come in handy when you're using conversions. And as you see here, you've got the templates, so these are ideal. We'll have a look at all of this in a bit more detail and the building guides for the half tracks. So without further ado, let's look closer. Okay, so first up out of the box is the rule book. I could just see there, it's just been caught by the sprues as it's come out, but actually, as I said, these books, the smaller ones, are ideal for taking to tournaments, taking to a club, and generally if you're going around a friend's house to have a battle. It's got all the key rules in it. There are 320 pages. There is an index at the back, so if you want to find out some more details around finding particular rules, which seems common sense, but version 2 didn't have that. So that's a really good way when you're in a battle to quickly find the rules you're looking for. At the back, there are the details around doing larger games, some of the different forces, so the key main forces. You get optional rules, and I don't know why I'm doing it backwards, but there we go. So you've got Germany, there'll be the USA, the British, and the Soviets, the sort of big 4 forces, as well as the Imperial Japanese. So lots and lots of details in here around how to play it, how to arrange it, and all the key rule dynamics. So these rules have been out for a while now, so I'm not going to go in detail going through it, but this book is a must for anyone wanting to start with bolt action. What I am really interested in is looking at this Band of Brothers field manual. So with the other starter set for bolt action, that also had a field manual. So let's have a bit of a closer look. Okay, so I literally have not looked inside this yet. You're going through it with me. So to start on the inside, You can see here there are some details around other figures. Warlord like to do this. They put a nice piece of artwork in just for a bit of inspiration. So you've got German Grenadiers here. Although these don't look like German Grenadiers, they look like the Blitzkrieg figures, but not to worry. British infantry late war, and then you've got here some Shermans surrounding a Tiger tank, which looks like it's about to be taken out. Then here we've got the content. So you can see here there's an introduction, bolt action hobby, Second World War, building miniatures, playing the game, how to play, and it goes through turn orders, missions. There's several missions here, 6 missions, painting guides, next steps and other nations. And then it goes on to advertising around the Warlord web store, events and store finder. So let's have a look what's on further in. So it's got an introduction, welcome to Bolt Action. Bolt Action is a very easy, fun game to get together. And I really enjoy playing it. So we've just done a Gold Beach, which is the British versus Germans for D-Day. So that's on our website. We're also looking at doing a Pegasus Bridge. I've built and painted it. We just need to finish off the British Paras. So we're going to do a battle report for that. And then you can see here there's some different Germans that are available. So this is all kind of advertising how you can play the game. Then this next page here, the Bolt Action Hobby. So it's talking about how you have different armies. You can get together and recruit different people and basically play through World War II. Very much in the flavour of how I remember playing Warhammer and other game systems is, you know, really nice details around how to assemble the forces, how to assemble the figures, what paint to use, and it shows here a picture of a painted US Airborne figure. And then it goes through a typical bolt action battle. So you can see there it's played on a 6x4, and you can see you can put some really nice detail into it, hedges, fences, roads, buildings. We try to pride ourselves on our channel around trying to have really good looking tables that feel authentic and are fun to play, and we enjoy sharing it, and this kind of highlights that, which is quite nice. Then as previously, it goes through some of the theatres of war. So you've got Germany Strikes, Duel in the Sun. So if you wanted to do early war, you've got Germany Strikes. Duel in the Sun is early to mid-war, and you can see here the Africa Corps and the 8th Army, as well as Italians. Then you've got Ostfront. We're doing a campaign from Barbarossa to Berlin. So we've just got to Stalingrad, which is probably halfway through before we go all the way back to Berlin. But this talks about some of the key battles. Empires in Flames. So if you wanted to do the Far East, Japan and Burma, New Guinea, all those kind of areas. So you could have British or Chindits, or you can have the US Marines, for example. That's a really good way of doing that. The only thing I would say is it would be nice to have a chronological list of these battles, because then if you wanted to do a campaign, you could fight each one of them, and I'd love to do that. So I might have to just go through and pick out all of the battles individually and work out which ones to do campaigns. And then you've got here Battlefield Europe. So these are some of the key ones on the Western Front for Germany and the Allies. A couple more promotional pictures. So you can see there, that looks really nice. And this is really going back to old school. I know a few people have put in comments around, wouldn't it be nice if someone could show us how to build figures? For absolute beginners, this is what you need. It'll show you how to clip the figures off, what paints to use in, how to dry fit them to check they actually go together, gluing them together, and then removing mold lines, and the tools you'll need, which is really, really important. And then once you've done that, you can start to look at some of the figures and paintings and decide what figures you want with which weapons, according to what you can use for the rules or the game system you're using, and the painting style you might want to use. And then it goes on to playing the game. So you can just do a quick pickup game. You could do a set number of points, or you could do narrative play. We do that with campaigns quite often. We do historical battles. It just adds an element of fun and context that we can just go into to help us with the battles. And then here you can see there is a huge tournament scene where people play bolt action competitively, and you can see some of the meta online with different people and how version 3 has developed and been optimized by those people, because that's how they tend to work out what works best within the rules. And then lastly, it's got here some real key basic information. Moving on, it goes through what you get. So order dice, how that works, pin markers, basic concepts about rolling, measuring, etc. Then it's got some of the missions. This is what we were looking at. So before it goes on to the missions, it just talks about what's on the sprue. So it's really nice. You can work out exactly the details of each of the US Airborne, D-Day and the German Grenadier sprues. It tells you exactly what each numbered component is. So when you're putting your forces together, you can choose the right options for what you want. And what I do like is here, so when you're doing the first mission, you build your first couple of figures and you either paint them or you can play straight out the box. But it just puts together some suggestions around how to build those figures. They're color coordinated, so you can pick the right item off of the sprue. And that's both for the Germans and the Americans. So actually you get the right figures together for the first mission on here, which is First Contact. And then you can just get together, you can play it on your own just to work out the key dynamics and basics of playing the game, or you can play it with a friend and go through all of these. So it just goes through the edge of that. Then, as you know, you get the ruined building within the starter set. So this brings into play ruins and buildings. It shows you how to build more troops, which is very nice. It gives you the stats of them, and then how to set up the next mission. Mission 3 is the whites of their eyes. So again, it looks like you're building an NCO there with an SMG and you're going into close combat, and shows you how to do that. Adding more troops for Mission 4 with Pin Down Sir. Mission 5 is where armor comes into play. So as you see here, there's a German Halftrack. And you could build an American bazooka team. If you did that with the amount of troops, you'd struggle to get a legal 2 rifle squads and an officer, because you'd need 1 guy for the officer and probably 4 or 5 each squad, and then you need 2 for the bazooka. So you might be able to squeeze it in, but I think for the purposes of this, it's very much a starter. Learn the rules, have some figures, enough figures to learn the rules and go through the basics. So you don't have to go with what's a legal army and what's not. So this goes through those basics. And it'll go through the armoured rules, and it shows you there how the damage works. Then mission 6 is all out war. So you're going to put together some more troops. You get the farmhouse you can put it on the mat, and you can go through that basic mission, which is very nice. So it's building you up and building you up to learn through the game, and teaching you what to paint, what to build, when to build it, and put it all together to get your core basic army. And then, like we used to see, painting guides. So it shows you different basing techniques, washes, base coats, and highlights. And oh, this is very nice. This is what we need. So it shows you the paints you need, how to undercoat. Then you see here, you've got your base colors, washes, and highlights, and then your basing, which really makes the figure pop. And then you've got the same for the US Airborne. So again, very nice. But moving on, it does exactly the same with the half-tracks. You've got the German half-track. You can do different paint schemes. This is just what they've suggested. And then the Americans, again, you can see 2 half-tracks makes both forces have an equal force. Then it goes on to next steps. So where to go to look to get different ideas and inspiration, and what you might want to add. More troops, vehicles, tanks, mortars, machine guns, all on the Warlord website. And talks here about growing your collection, which is just an add-on to that, with some nice artwork around different tanks, different vehicles, and different scenery you can set up. And then it just goes on to some of the other nations. This is very similar to the field manual we had in the starter set. So there we go, Japanese, Soviet Union, Italy. Olaf in our group's just finished a nice Italian army, so we'll be playing some of those soon. And then you've got other allies, so they're all part of playing bolt action. So there we go, a very interesting, very nice, compact book for new players into bolt action to get up and running and learn the key basics of the game. So next up in the box, as I said, the dice bag. I won't go through those. Each unit has a dice. So it could be that one of these is for the half-track, 2 for rifles, 1 for an officer, and the dynamics of the game are they go in the bag, and it's a random event as to what's pulled out when, but there's enough there to get started. Next up out to the box is the pin markers. So as you can see here, there's a number dial. If you struggle with your eyesight slightly and you can't see these because they're very difficult to see, one suggestion is to paint these before you fix on these. You just clip it off. That bit there just pops in there and it dials. So you can see how many pins each unit has got there. And there's more than enough here to get started. But just a suggestion is just to paint those before you pop those on. It just makes it a bit easier. And then you could just use one pin marker with the dial for each unit you have on the board. Then we have the ruins. So here we go. There are 2 sprues to the ruins because you can make 2 buildings. And the good thing about these is, as you see here, there's a real nice amount of detail. So you can see the bricks and the stonework underneath all the render. You get the cornerstones, which again are very nice. But these are all modular, so you can build them how you want. And certainly I've done some of these winter themed, and I've done a manor house and the rectory, so that they're slightly bigger than just a ruin set. But you can stick these together how you want. They go together quite nicely. You've got a chimney stack, a doorway and window. You can see there's explosion holes, which helps you paint them. On the second sprue, you've got some rubble pieces, which just, you can move those into the corner on the length, just help it pop to make it look more like ruins. And then, as you see here, there's a window, and you'll probably see there is a little ledge to put your wooden decking on. Part of the roofing, and there we go. That there is another doorway. So what does this look like when it's built? Well, fortunately, I've got a few of these, so let's get one that's already done. So here we go. Here are some of the ruins that I bought these off eBay, but I've got lots of them. But you can see how they go together really, really easily. You've got the cornerstones, the render. This is just sprayed. The render's painted, and it's just got a wash on it with some stuff. You can put coffee stirrers inside here just to give the base a bit of feeling, or you can attach, as you see here, the rubble to the side to make it really stand out. But you can do whatever you want with these buildings. There's lots of different shapes and sizes, and you can add little bits if you want to make them stand out as slightly bigger buildings, or as you see here, sandbags and barrels. So it's very, very simple once you get a few of these together to build up a nice set of ruins, which can feature as a real nice center point for a battlefield. And if you want to base them, you can do, or you can leave them separately. So actually you've just got the key components separately. So that is what the ruins look like. Very nice and easy to put together. And once they're painted up, they do look very nice. So what's next out the box? Okay, so next up, I've shown the mat already, so I'm just going to pop that there because actually that is pretty straightforward and easy to use. I've got a neoprene mat here, which I prefer using, but if you're just getting started, this is absolutely ideal. Often people want a nice mat just to get up and running and have something different to a tabletop. So that's very good there. So let's have a look. Next is the US Halftrack. So let's have a look at the sprues as they come and see what that looks like. So you get 2 sprues. You can see the first one here has the front grille. There's detailing, as you can see, with some tools. And you've got the side armour, the tracks and the wheels, the front cabin on the right side, the top of the front cabin, instruments there on the driver's instruments. There's some other bits of armor, the axle, there's some nice fuel bits there, as well as the front wheels, and then you can see here you got the winch that goes on the front. But before that, you also get the basic, so this here is the middle, the center bit that all the bits stick to. You've then got the seating sections, the inside seating sections, the gunner position, You get some spare backpacks, steering wheel, a driver, which is quite nice. To paint them up before you put them in, because otherwise it's more difficult to paint them. You get a heavy machine gun and 2 medium machine guns, which is really nice when you're building and you want to optimize the firepower on your half-track. And then, as you see here, you get some rolls and some spare helmets to put on the side. And these are actually quite easy and quite straightforward to put together. So what does it look like when they're built and painted? Well, fortunately, I already have some of these. So here's one I prepared earlier. So this is the US Halftrack. As you see there, I've put some rolls and I've painted up just a basic green. This was just one of a very quick idea to get them together. You can see the drivers in place, backpacks, etc. on. You can see the spade and the pick, the half-track. There's all the details here around the additional stowage, the medium machine guns and a heavy machine gun at the front. And you can fill the middle bit in with other stuff if you want. So you see there I put a bazooka pouch and a guy reading some instructions. So that's part of the crew. So these are fairly straightforward to put together and very, very easy to paint. So that's the first one. Let's see what's next. Okay, so next up is the German Hanomag, the 251. So again, this works pretty much the same way as the Americans. You'll have the center bit here, these glued together. It's all nice and straightforward. You have the half tracks, you get some spare equipment, you've got a medium machine gun, seats, and then the axle, as well as some spare bits for the front. You do get some crew on the other sprue. So you can see here there's 4 passengers, which are very nice. The machine gun that goes on the front here, there's a bit of a armoured defence, so the machine gun goes within there. There's an aerial. This is the main top section for the half-track. Again, there's some good detail. You get 2 wheels for the front and a spare, because you can decide whether you want a wheel or some other bits at the front of your half-track. And again, you get some spares, so you can put those on the side. And this is all the seating system. So again, I've got some of these, and these are really simple but really effective to put together. And with version 3, these are much better than version 2. So actually I really rate the half-tracks now. I like taking these. So again, I've already done one of these, so let's get it out and have a look. So here we go. Here's one I prepared earlier. As you can see, it is pretty straightforward to put together. The helmet and the roll on the side. The half-track has the tracks and the wheels. I've put the spare wheel on the front. I did this, one of my first armies was the Germans, so it's a very basic paint job, but effective nonetheless. I put some weathering on it and some rust and chippings, etc. I am actually considering whitewashing this for my winter Germans, but I will get around to that at some point. But these are very, very straightforward and, as I say, effective in the game. It gives you a medium machine gun. It can transport troops into the combat or to take an objective, but it also gives you flak against the enemy aircraft should they be used. So there we go. That is the German half-track. Let's see what's next. Okay, so next up is the German Grenadiers. So these, the sprue itself says that they are Warlord Games from 2015. So they've been around, what, 10 years, but they're still nice figures. So I'll start at the bottom here. So you can see there's some nice heads. You get someone without a helmet, you get a couple of caps, you get an officer's cap, and you can see there it's a well-used officer's cap because it's slightly droopy, but that just goes to show that actually they're veterans and they've been in the field for quite a while. And then you get a nice array of different German helmets, some with covers, some without, and you can see that one's got a little bit of camouflage on it. MP40, which is very nice. You then get a rifle, and you also get a Soviet SMG, which is quite nice if you want to do these for the Soviet front. There's a pistol and an MG toolkit there. There's some ammo pouches for the rifles, a spare helmet, which is quite nice. You can put those, if you do one of your guys without a helmet, you can put that on the base or put that on the half track. Then you've got the ammo belt for the LMG, a stick grenade, and then different hands. So if you wanted to put spare rifles in, you can, because you can see here there's a spare rifle. So you could put a guy holding the stick grenade, he's throwing the stick grenade, but also holding a rifle. Then you can see here there's different poses for rifles. You get Panzer Faust. There's one on the side on its own and one being held. An ammo container for the MP40, for the MG. Then there's a spare MG40 there, and again some spare hands. There's a little bit of flashing on that one, but that's fine. And then obviously you could use the MP40 for an officer on that one. And then it kind of comes on to the figures themselves. So as I say, these have been around for 10 years, but they're still really valid. So then we come on to the troops themselves. So these have been around for approximately 10 years, but they're still really nice and really valid to use in the game. So you can see then one there's got a smock on. There's a kneeling guy. I usually use those for NCOs because then they can stand out. And you can see the detail within the figures is quite good. You can pick out the ammo pouches and straps, etc. There's an additional arm with a rifle on it. Then you've got a couple of stances where one is just looking, so he's just got his legs out, and then another one where he's just stepping forward slightly. And then below that there's a couple more. So you've got here a Grenadier with, again, he's got the pouches and you can see his equipment, and then an MG 42 on the back there. That's quite nice. You get an assault rifle, more arms. You also get a map and binoculars. So if you wanted to give an officer or an NCO those, he could do. And obviously you've then got the MP40 that you can give him a machine gun. And there are some more assault rifles and some ammo packs for the assault rifles. And then you get entrenching tools, and you can see here there are more equipment for the webbing, which is quite nice, as well as the gas masks and spare machine guns and spare assault rifles. So there we go, that's the sprue for the Germans. Let's have a look what they look like when they're built. Okay, so here's some I prepared earlier. So as you can see, I've just given this guy an assault rifle because he's going to be my officer. I've put the webbing and stuck him all together. I've used the kneeling pose just because each sprue comes with 2 kneeling poses, so I always use them generally for NCOs. But with Warlord sets, one thing I will say is it's actually really easy to swap around and put different weapons, even between different sets. So if you had a different German set, you could put different arms and equipment on, which helps for variety, as well as different hats and helmets. So that's an officer. I've given him an assistant, so he's got an MP40 looking through binoculars, and again, very easy to put together. I just score the bases just to help with the glue sticking to the bases. And then I've done 2 sections here. So I've got one is a rifle section. So he's just holding a rifle, and again, the figures go together very nicely. You can see the straps. And once painted up, they look like German Grenadiers. And of course, you get different rifles, and you get this one's got the smock, and it's very easy to put them together to build a section. And as you see with these, I've got 12 guys, which is the 2 sprues made up. Here is another guy holding a different rifle, and then we've got an LMG team, so quite nice. They go together easily. He's got the ammo on the side and he's holding a container, and then they've both got spare equipment on their backs to service the LMG. And I think for a starter game, and the Germans in particular, the LMG is a formidable weapon. With Hitler's buzzsaw, they get an extra die to roll in with their shots. And then on this side, you can see I've just added an NCO with a rifle. I've got a couple of guys with assault rifles and equipment. You can see the different poses. They do come out very nicely. And then again, I've done an LMG team because Germans without an LMG just doesn't make sense. So I always like to take LMGs, and you can see all the spare equipment really makes them pop and really makes them look nice. So there we go, that is the German sprues. So next up we have the US Airborne. So I have done previous sprue reviews of these, but let's have a look now and see what they look like. So I really like these. These are probably some of the best sprues that Warlord have done. So as you can see in detail here, there are some really nice looking heads. You've got the pistol, which can be strapped to the front of the officers, hand grenade, a head without a helmet or anything on, bandaged helmet, then lovely sculpts for the heads here. You can see them with straps on or straps off, as the Americans like to do during the war. They've got the medic packs on the top, rucksacks, and then again here you've got different types of helmets. You even have ones with goggles if you wanted to make some kind of assault engineers, because the Paris can have them. Entrenching tools, which are quite nice. There's only 4 on this sprue that I can see, which is okay. I guess not everyone's going to have entrenching tools. Then this one is a monocle or some kind of single binocular for ranging. An additional helmet, but again you can see the detail on these is much better. Then there are 5 backpacks there, so that makes 6 in total. And then it goes on to the weapons. So you've got the rifle, another rifle there, the BAR, then there's a Thompson submachine gun here, and you get the ammo. So there's a magazine being changed there, which is quite nice, which you can put those together, and then Thompson being fired, and there you see another SMG. There's another rifle here, which is quite nice, and then it comes onto the bodies themselves. So you can see what's really nice here is you can really, the detail is very crisp on the pockets, the straps, the webbing. It's all very nice detail indeed. So this body here, you can see, look at that, you've got the hand grenades, the boots, you can see the laces. The detail on these is very good, and it really catches in the light. There we go, there's some more weapons. And then moving down to here, as you can see, we've got the light machine gun for the Americans, another ammo pouch, and more bodies for the US Airborne. So I do really like these. There's a bazooka and a round for the bazooka. There's a pouch here which could be used scenario based. It could be just some information, or you could have it as a charge. There's some more ammo, which is nice. Before it moves on to looking at, there we go, there's some more rifles and hands. So that one's got a clip of bullets in it. This one's being carried, and that one's aiming. And there's some more rifles this side. So you see there's another one at the carry, one being carried over the shoulder, a pointy finger. You have to have a pointy finger for an NCO. And again, someone reading a map. Spare belt, and there you've got the pistol for the officer or NCO. A spare helmet, always good, and spare binoculars. The sniper rifle, I picked this up previously, is kind of held in his arms. It's kind of just resting, but that would have been quite nice to have that Springfield as something could actually be shot. There's a bipod there, which I would imagine is for the LMG, which is coming up. Then again here, you've got some more ammo pouches, really nice there. There's a torch, another SMG, some ammo pouches, some more ammo pouches, some more pistols, and some more equipment. And then if you wanted to, as you see here, you could have pathfinders with shaved heads, which is very nice, so you can paint those up. There's a flare gun, a German pistol, a combat knife with knuckle duster on it, which is very nice, some more ammo, and yeah, you've got a hand there with a grenade. So very nice sprue. I've done a proper review of these in depth. Check out the description if you want to see those. But let's have a look what these look like, because I have prepared some earlier. So here we go. Here are some of the US Airborne. These are ones I've made earlier. So this one is going to be an officer. So I've given him a pistol and a rifle because in the rules, actually it's really nice to have the Americans with the rifles. You can see he's got a knife on his leg there, water bottle, ammo pouches, rucksack. But the detail on these is very, very nice. I really like these and I think they're going to paint up very nicely. So the next squad, here's a squad leader, an NCO. He's got his rifle there, and the detail on these guys is absolutely brilliant. I love it. Then a rifleman. Another rifleman. You see this one's loading. That's the bullets that are going into the rifle. He's reloading, which is very thematic and adds to the variety of poses in there. This one here, he's also got a new clip ready to go in, but just look at the detail on his chest there. You can see all the pockets and the straps. That's going to be very nice to pick out, as well as if you look on his knees and his elbows, you can see the patches that they had in place. So that's very good. And then last on this section, so another running pose, and he's got his rifle at the ready, looking like he's about to go into combat. On this side, I've just altered the pose of the rifle that he's got for the NCO, but he looks ready to go. He's ready for combat, and he's ready with his glasses to be part of that. This rifleman here has got the straps dangling down. He very much looks like a US GI, doesn't he? But there we go. He's got his rucksack and his knife, and he's ready for combat. Then here you can see this one again. He's got his rifle across his center as he's running in to fight. 3 more. So I've done this one just at the carry with some bullets ready to go again. And here he's moving forward, just changing position, I guess. But really, really nice sculpts. And then lastly, everyone loves a BAR, don't they? So this BAR, he's running forward, ready to get into the combat. Giving him some extra pouches and the entrenching tool. And he is ready to go forward to face the Germans. So there we go. That is what comes in the starter box. You get 2 forces. Obviously, you can build this slightly different. I do have some spare sprues, so I've got bazookas, etc. But if you want to see more details on the Americans, check out the unboxing of the new sprues I did for those. But I'm going to get these up and painted, and hopefully do a starter battle involving the forces and the stuff that you get in the new box set from Warlord Games. Look out for that very shortly, because I just need to paint up these US Airborne and we are good to go, and we will do a starter battle. Let me know your thoughts, but thank you for watching. Before I go, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to our channel sponsors, Fog of War. They offer a 10% discount to any subscribers of the Ministry Miniatures. Just enter the Ministry into the checkout. There's a discount code box, and you can get 10% discount on top of the discounts they already offer. But they kindly sent us this starter set, Band of Brothers. So huge thank you. Details below in the description, and their website link are on the screen now. Check them out, have a look, see if you want to get started. This is a really good set from Warlord to get started. But we will do a battle and discuss in the next video relating to this what I would do to build on both the US Airborne and the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers are pretty much the mainstay for the German army later in the war, and there's quite a lot that can be added to it, which will probably take another video. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the channel, and we will see you all again soon. Take care and goodbye.